Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Ellie who lived in a peaceful village. She was always filled with endless curiosity about nature. Every time the sun set, Ellie would sit in her garden, gazing up at the sky, imagining how many mysterious places were still waiting for her to explore. At the edge of the garden, there was a forest with tall, lush trees, but Ellie had never truly ventured inside. One night, as Ellie was getting ready for bed, she suddenly heard a strange sound coming from deep within the forest. Curious, she leaned against the window and looked out into the woods through the darkness. It was a soft melody, almost as if inviting her to come closer. The next morning, Ellie packed her small backpack and set off down a path leading into the forest. She was determined to find out the source of the mysterious sound. The deeper she went, the more sunlight filtered through the leaves, and the birds in the forest chirped happily. Suddenly, she stopped in front of a giant old oak tree. This oak tree was different from the others. There was a hollow in its trunk, and the entrance was glowing faintly. "This must be a magical tree hollow," Ellie thought to herself. Summoning her courage, she climbed into the hollow. As she passed through the glowing entrance, she found herself in a completely different place, a huge treehouse hidden among the trees. The walls of the treehouse were woven from transparent tree bark, allowing her to see the beautiful scenery outside. Inside, there was a large table covered with all kinds of magical items: flying books, self-turning maps, and a glowing quill writing in the air. "Welcome to my home, Ellie!" a gentle voice suddenly rang out. Ellie turned around and saw an old man wearing a green cloak standing in the corner, smiling at her. In his hand, he held a magic wand made from a tree branch, and his long beard, covered in moss, swayed gently in the breeze. "I am the guardian of this forest," the old man said. "I could see that you are a child full of curiosity about nature, so I invited you here to learn about the unknown magic of this world with me." Ellie was so amazed that she couldn't speak. She had never imagined she would encounter such an adventure. She couldn't help but ask, "How did this treehouse come to be? Is it really magic?" The old man laughed. "Yes, this tree and this forest hold ancient magic. Whenever someone with purity and curiosity enters here, this treehouse appears to show them the most wondrous parts of the world." For the next few hours, Ellie explored the treehouse with the old man. Together, they opened a mysterious book of magic and learned spells to talk to animals. On the treehouse's balcony, they looked out over the entire forest and even saw strange creatures Ellie had never seen before, flying between the trees. "Every leaf has its own story," the old man said. "If you listen closely, nature will tell you all its secrets." Time passed quietly, and as the sun began to set, Ellie knew it was time to go home. "This journey is something I will never forget," she said to the old man. "Can I come back?" The old man nodded and smiled. "As long as you keep that purity and curiosity in your heart, the door to this treehouse will always be open to you." Ellie waved goodbye, passed through the glowing hollow, and returned to the familiar forest. When she looked back, the giant oak tree had returned to its peaceful state, as if nothing had ever happened. That night, Ellie lay in bed, gazing at the stars outside her window, her heart filled with anticipation for more magical adventures to come. She knew that the magical treehouse in the forest would always be waiting for her to explore again.